technically, see, when we speak of ISRO is an amalgamation of different engineering domains.
Hmm.
So it's not just, for example, if you are in a coding role, it's not just coding that you have to learn. You also have to have a lot of domain knowledge. For example, if you're doing satellite image processing, you have to have physics, you have to have maths, and you have to have core control in that. Only then you can code it. So that is the challenging part. So for each and every day, you need to learn something from the books. You need to know the theory, and then only you can put it into the code form. That is one thing. So that the technical part is always there. The challenge is always there.
Hmm.
And the other part,
Hey guys, welcome back to Career Cushion, where we connect professions to people. Today we have Radha Krishna with us. He is currently working as project manager at ISRO. Thanks for joining us today, Radha, and welcome to the channel.
hi everyone. Hi, thank you, Pranati, for inviting me.
So Radha, can you give us a brief introduction about your journey from BTech in computer science and advanced physics to scientist at ISRO?
Yeah, sure. So my BTech was in physical sciences, where there's a lot of different specialities. So I did my BTech in IIST Space Science and Technology, which is a college under ISRO, and it is in Trivandrum. So I did it in physical sciences, but in the last third and fourth year, there are multiple branches which you can choose, and I chose the courses which are related to computer science and little bit of computational physics. So after that, because I studied in IIST, there used to be a clause that if you're getting good marks, then based on the vacancies in ISRO, you will be directly absorbed. There will be some interview in between. So after that interview, there were a couple of choices for me. Like I could join SAC, Ahmedabad, NRSC, etc. So I joined the NRSC Hyderabad. I think it was in 2016, and it's been 7 years since I've been working with ISRO. Yeah.
Mhm. So, how do you get into the college? Like, is it after 12th?
Yeah, so after 12th, back then there used to be a separate exam called as ISAT, which used to be similar level of IIT JEE. Now, I think the admission is based on the IIT JEE exam itself.
Okay, okay, got it.
Yeah,
Uh,
mains and prelims, it will be there, right? So, yeah, there some IIT JEE now it is transformed, right? It is called some other exam right now.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. What do you do as project manager at ISRO?
Okay, so the role project manager is a additional role. So basically, there are the designation is like scientist engineer SC when we join. There is the grading is like scientist engineer SC, SD, SC, SF. So every 4 years we get up like we get an option for promotion, and I am currently scientist engineer SD.
Okay.
So I work at workflows and product dissemination, and uh, for in that domain, I take care of the workflow section and product dissemination for a upcoming satellite called as NISA. Okay,
Okay.
so I also have that additional role of taking care of the requirements, tracking the statuses, the technicalities of the project, etc. for that NISA satellite. So that's how we get this additional role. But other than that, we also have individual contributor role in the form of scientist engineer ST, where we have to work on different things as well.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
So got it. What does your day-to-day tasks look like? Like, do you have lots of meetings, or what tools do you use, and what languages do you work on?
Okay, so this will be very specific to my role. ISRO being a very big organization, there are almost all languages that I use. Okay, so for example, if you're talking of hardware, there are hardware specialist languages that I use, and then when you go to normal hardware control, there is C++ that is used. At my role, as I told, I work on workflows and product dissemination. So when I speak of workflows, we also do softwares that control ground station antennas, and there are processes which have to run on the data that is coming from the satellite. So because that is a crucial thing, and we have to finish it faster, we use C and C++ there. Once that is done, there are other softwares which run on the data. So there we use Python, Java, etc. And we also do websites, backend engineering, and that stuff for disseminating the data. So we have portals where you can see the data, you can download the data. For that we use Python and Java. So these are different languages. right? And you asked about day-to-day lifestyle also. So it is different again for everyone. So for example, if you are in an operational center, so I'll tell you. So ISRO, right? It's a very big organization. So ISRO has multiple child centers under it. Okay.
Okay.
So I am at National Remote Sensing Center, and there are this is a center which takes care of ground station. So when I mean of ground station, there are antennas we have where we download the satellite data, we process it, we disseminate it, we generate insights out of it. So almost it is like computer science and hardware sort of a center. Now, when you speak of, there are other centers in Ahmedabad called as Space Application Center. We have URL Satellite Center. We have Vikram Sarabhai Space Center in Trivandrum. These centers, right? These centers are specialized in their own thing. Like for example, SAC specializes in making payloads, making user applications. So there, if you are talking about the work life is entirely different. So there are shifts there. Everyone has to take care of the instruments. So there are 24 hours continuous jobs that are running. In my role, it is like standard 8.5 hours job, and if there is requirement, we have to stay for long. So I go to office, I check my mails. If I have some work assigned, then I finish it off, and then there are future projects that we need to plan for with respect to infrastructure, etc. So we make all those presentations, and then we present it to higher ups, and then when we once we get an agreement, we track it again. We develop software for that testing and all. Yeah.
Got it, got it. So sounds like you are so much interested into the kind of work you do. So can you tell what is the most interesting thing you feel about being a scientist at ISRO?
Okay, cool. So, see, I talk to a lot of my friends in private industry, and I don't compare different jobs, but it's like this. If you're working at a sort of a software job or an operational job, it's that we get to do the same work repeatedly for money. But at ISRO, it is like every day you learn something new. So if a different new satellite is coming, okay, you have a lot of things to learn, and at the same time, based on the learning, you have to also implement a lot of different things, right? So something that you are implementing will be used by users across the world. Indian government uses it, Indian agencies use it, and it's to say that entire ecosystems or entire ministries depend on your work or the
Okay.
teamwork that you do. So that is something that is really exciting when you work at ISRO. Okay, there's a lot of learning curve, but then there's also a lot of satisfaction. Okay, I'm doing something that is useful for country and citizens. Yeah.
Got it, got it. Yeah. So I believe even you will agree with this. Like every role has its own challenges, right? So what is the most challenging part?
Right. So as I said, the challenging part there is two things here. Technically, see when we speak of ISRO is a amalgamation of different engineering domains. So it's not just, for example, if you are in a coding role, it's not just coding that you have to learn. You also have to have a lot of domain knowledge. For example, if you're doing satellite image processing, you have to have physics, you have to have maths, and you have to have core control in that. Only then you can code it. So that is the challenging part. So for each and every day, you need to learn something from the books. You need to know the theory, and then only you can put it into the code form. That is one thing. So that the technical part is always there. The challenge is always there. And the other part is that ISRO is a government organization, right?
Yeah.
So you need to also talk to your superiors and your juniors and take your work along with them, right? So sometimes because there's a lot of bureaucracy also, right? So because it's a government organization, there is a strict workflow. I have to get a approval from superiors, and then I have to also take my juniors along in the KT, and then as a project we have to move along. So learning that also takes some time. So in my 7 years, I still don't accept that I have learned how to take this whole work forward, and slowly I'm learning that part. That is also a big challenge.
Okay, okay, got it. So as we have understand what are the challenges and what is the most exciting thing about being scientist. So can you tell us what are the different ways to become a scientist at ISRO?
Okay, so the first way is my way. So if someone is studying in 12th or 11th, they can also aim for IIST. So once you come to IIST after for your BTech, then there is gateways for you to directly enter ISRO based on your performance in BTech. Okay. Now that is not the nominal case of if you're not in IIST. IIST is very some small, very subset. But if you are someone who is studying BTech or MTech, then what you can do is there are exams called as ICRB, which is conducted by ISRO Centralized Recruitment Board, and now even the recruitment is happening using gate also.
Okay.
So the eligibility is there for BTech and also MTech people, so they can write this exam, and after this exam there will be an interview. So this exam will be of the level of gate. So if you are prepared for gate, this exam will be of the same level, and then there will be a technical interview followed by which you will be absorbed into ISRO based on your performance. So this is
Okay.
one way, and also after PhD also there are some roles. So this is for the scientist and engineer cadre, which is the nominal cadre in ISRO. Okay. Now parallelly there are also temporary roles which are like a junior research fellow, senior research fellow, project scientist, etc. These roles are usually for 5 years, and the notifications are released frequently. So, for example, NRSC has recently released a notification for this 5 year rules. These will be also technical rules only, and students can use this as a experience middleware, or they can use this as a learning phase or to get into academia and to network. So these are the two different types of technical rules.
Okay, okay, got it. So, what skills this role demands apart from technical knowledge? What other skills
Cool.
does a person require?
Right. So, for example, if you want to come into ISRO and be a successful guy according to yourself, right? So you
Hmm.
want to be satisfied in your
Hmm.
job.
Hmm.
Technicalities, anyways, there you need to be technically strong. If you're not technically strong, standing among others will be hard. So someone will be speaking something you will not be able to understand. You need to work on it. So technicality is there. Other than that, even if you compare this job with private companies, so even in private companies, you need to have good communication skills. Here, that is number one thing. You need to have good communication skills, and that you have to be best at, because you need to talk to people of all different ages and all different domains. So you are coming from a software engineering background, for example. You need to speak to someone who has done MSc physics, and you have to convince him that the proposal that you're doing is optimal for him and you, because he does not have knowledge in your domain, you don't have knowledge in him. So convincing that part, right, is tricky, and you have to be at your best. You have to be best in your game to do this particular thing. So communication skills are primary thing here, and your networking is also important, because in any R&D domain, in research when you are doing, you have to have a good team to put your work on the world diets, right? So if you're not having a good team, you cannot take your work forward, because you're not specialist at everything. There are specialists in each domain. You want them on your team, right? So that is one thing. And if you're not good at communication skills, why will they be on your team, right?
Yeah.
So you need to go to them, pitch your project. You be on my team. We'll work as a team together. They should be convinced, and then only you can put a new project, right? So
Hmm.
this is one more thing that is very important.
Got it. Got it. So before joining college after your 12th, you might have some idea, right? What it's like being a scientist at ISRO. So how is it like before joining and after joining? Is it like how you have expected?
Right. So that's a great question. So firstly, when I wanted to join ISRO, initially I wanted to join Air Force, but then I got eyesight, and then I could not join the flying cadre. So
Mm-hmm.
then naturally, because I was strong in maths, I wanted to join ISRO. And then for anyone outside ISRO, it's a very dream organization. There's a lot of good
Yes.
research that is happening, etc. So the initial days after you join ISRO, you see all kinds of stuff, good stuff, everything new, right? So there's again a lot of learning curve. So I'd say that depending on your role, you might find it as you expect, or as you not, right? For example, if you wanted to build some satellite, and then you find your vacancy in National Remote Sensing Center,
Hmm.
then you will not find any satellite building component. You will not even see a satellite also, right? So
Yeah.
you will be
Hmm.
working on data. So I'd say that if that is the case, you will not be finding your expectation to be matched.
Hmm.
So that is the thing that we have to keep in mind before coming into ISRO, that okay, based on the vacancy, we'll be getting an operational role. Okay, we'll
Hmm.
be getting a research role. But once you have that, there will be multiple opportunities to even see satellites, work on satellites, etc. as you grow in career. So
Okay.
if so we have to match our expectations with what might come after that. For example, for me, I'm very satisfied. I knew that okay, I'll be getting into computer science role, but there's a lot of theory behind it. I was up for it, and this is something that I have expected in my BTech, and I'm happy with it.
Okay, okay, nice. Uh, so, what is the salary like at ISRO, and how is the growth?
Cool. So coming to salary, so this salary is a standard thing across Indian government. So be it in whatever cadre, for example, if you're joining, if you're writing UPSC and joining IAS, right? So you'll be starting as a SDM, subdivisional magistrate, and then you'll go to district collector, etc., joint secretary, etc. The same cadre we have at ISRO also. So once you join as a scientist SC, it is exactly equivalent to subdivisional magistrate in IAS, even IPS cadres or any other cadre also. So in entry, I'll give you a rough quote. So it will be somewhere around 80 to 90,000 after you mix all different components of your salary. Okay. So
Okay,
there's basic pay, there is house rent allowance, there is travel allowance, different things. And now the salary is dependent on which city you work at, because Indian government has different slabs for different cities. Okay,
okay,
that is coming from house rent allowance and travel allowance. So if you are staying in a tier 2 city, your house rent allowance will be smaller than if you're staying in a tier 1 city or metro city, right? So there some difference will come, but on a whole, for a fresher, somewhere around 75 to 85,000 you can get.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. And how will be the growth?
Okay. So coming to growth part, again, this is also standard for all the Indian government roles. So for every 4 years, you will be eligible for a promotion. Okay. So there will be an interview, and this in that that will be technical and also behavior also. So there will be questions from the committee across all different domains of your work that you've done in the last year.
Hmm.
So based on that, you will be eligible for a promotion. So for every 4 years in the initial era, so scientist SD, scientist C, D, E, it is 4 years, and then after that there's 5 years promotion, right?
Okay,
So F, G, and then you go to outstanding scientist. So this is the cadre growth, and for every 4 5 years we have promotion interview. So how much ever good work you do, how much ever best work you do, you have to wait for those 4 years, and then only you will be eligible for the next promotion. So this is in the growth aspect.
got it, got it. So you'll have so much of work. So how do you manage your work-life balance?
Okay, so there is huge amount of work when some satellite is getting launched for my role, for my team. So some satellite is getting launched. We have to stay at our ground station day and night for like there's something called as commissioning phase. We validate the satellite is working fine, the data is fine, and entire ground station is in place. So during that time there is huge load, and then there is no work-life balance. So completely work. After that phase, again, when you're planning for the next satellite, you're preparing for the next satellite, the work-life balance comes back. So we can assume that, okay, we are staying in office for 8.5 hours, and that is fixed because, yeah, so we can plan accordingly. But when there is satellite launches, we have to be there for the country.
Okay, okay, got it. Nice. So great.
Yeah.
So do you have any advice for aspirants who want to become scientist at ISRO?
Right. So my advice will be for if you're in the early stages of your career, like in the 11th and 12th, be motivated and then study everything theoretically. Because once you get into ISRO, theory is what makes you stand out from everyone else. If you're having good domain knowledge, you can stand out from everyone else. And getting into ISRO also is based on your theoretical exams only, GATE, ICRB, or even getting into IIST. So you have to be strong in your theory. So for any aspirant, you have to be motivated and study theory correctly. The second thing is uh, don't so even for guys who are already giving ICRB or GATE, don't keep your expectations so high, because the vacancies are based on different centers, and centers have their own circles, right? So they have their own responsibility. So your dream may be that you want to work on satellite payloads, etc., but your vacancy may be something else. So once you join, again, if you don't like it, then there is concept of transfers and all. A lot of my friends have taken transfers to the work divisions they like, and they are now enjoying it. So ISRO will offer you lot of opportunities. So there's nothing to worry. I'd say don't keep your expectation that okay, I'll directly get that role.
Okay.
Keep your expectations in a broader way. Be open for learning, and then enjoy after you come.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
Does the transfers happen on regular basis or how is it?
No, it depends on again case to case.
Mm-hmm.
If transfer is something that you have asked for based on you like for example there's some family reasons or there's some medical reasons. Again, it is case to case basis. I have seen people getting transferred for multiple reasons. The other transfers part, like for example in railways or any other department, we have continuous frequent transfers, right?
Yes,
ISRO,
yes.
it is not like that because every center is having clear work definition, and you
Mm-hmm.
are in that particular center because of your experience. You will be there for a better part of your career, making your work, etc. So there is not much frequent transfer
Got it.
in.
Got.
Yeah.
Uh, so I have a rapid fire for you. I'll be
Yeah,
asking few words and just tell whatever comes to your mind.
sure.
So ISRO,
ISRO is my dream.
okay. India,
India is something that I'm working every day for.
scientist,
Again, scientist is my dream, and I'm enjoying every part of it.
okay. Computer science,
I have not. I am not a computer science person, but I have learned everything offline. So yeah,
uh, okay, nice. Uh, so physics,
physics is something that I love, but I'm missing physics from last 4 years. Again, I want to get into it.
teamwork,
Teamwork is very important at ISRO. If you're not a team person, you will not go far.
got it. Government job versus private job,
The debate is there. I love government job, but everything has its own advantages.
got it, got it. Nice. So it was a great conversation with you. Thanks for sharing all the knowledge about being a scientist at ISRO and how one can become a scientist and your
Yeah.
experiences and your roles and responsibilities. It was a great conversation.
Yeah, nice questions, Pranati. Thank you. You have actually asked questions where a lot of people have been asking me on different platforms. I think with this video, many people will get clarity on how to
Yeah,
join this and how the work is going.
yeah. Hopefully, yes.
Yeah, yeah,
Thank you, Radha.
yeah, yeah. Thank you, Pranati. Thank you.